everyone, so I have pulled out my seed collection today and I would like to share that with you. But before we get into the seeds, I'd like to talk about a few terms that you may hear me speaking about when I'm pulling out the seed packets, or that you may see when you're doing your own seed shopping. So first up, we have heirloom. This is just a seed that has been handed down from generation to generation, with it being at least 50 years old. All heirlooms are open pollinated. Open pollinated just means that it is a cross that has happened in nature. So it will be two different varieties from the same species that will cross in nature. Now, hybrid is the exact opposite of open pollinated. Hybrid is a cross by human. These seeds are not stable, whereas open pollinated and heirloom are. So that's why you don't want to save seeds from hybrids. And with that being said, you can absolutely save the seeds from hybrids. They just will not be true to seed. So whenever you sow those seeds the next year, they will not likely be the same exact thing that you grew. They will be more like the parent plant, or just be somewhat similar, but not exactly the same. Okay, now that we have those few things covered, I think we'll go ahead and move on to the seeds. So we'll start with tomatoes. Let's see. So I'll start with this bag. I also have this container, and then these are empty packets that I either need to get more of, or I've got several reasons. I don't know what I'm going to do with the empty packs yet. So if you have a recommendation, let me know. But I'd like to keep them and do something artsy. Okay. So I got a few of these on Amazon last year. They were on sale super cheap, and I sprouted some of them, but I didn't get to grow the plants out fully because I had a few mishaps at the end of the growing season last year. So no complaints about the seed, it was just me there. But I'll go ahead and go through the varieties that are in this packet. And they do come in these little aluminum packs, which I do really like. And then they've also provided like plastic baggies. So this is the Golden Jubilee tomato. This is one that I haven't grown yet, and I'll insert a picture for this one since it's not on the packet. Same for all of the foil ones. Let's see. I'll be excited to try that one. I don't even know what it looks like. And then the green zebra tomato. I really like the striped tomatoes. I had grown them one year, and I didn't like them because the skins were too thick and I was trying to use it like a slicing tomato. But looking back on it, I think that it's going to make a really good canning tomato, and the skins are going to come off super easily whenever I go to bake them and remove the skins. Mormende tomato. I haven't heard of that one either. And then San Marzano. I grew some of those this year. I don't know if it was just me, but they weren't super big. They were really more the size of a saladette tomato. So I think I'm going to, of course, try them again next year, but I do actually really like saladette tomatoes. I like to make sun-dried tomatoes with them and then freeze them. I don't bother with storing them in oil. But with all of the gel in them, I think that it has more flavor than trying to use like a small cherry tomato. But San Marzano tomatoes, they are good for paste tomatoes, so that was completely unrelated. Oxheart tomato. Now, I have grown these, and they are very chunky, meaty potatoes. However, for whatever reason, I kept getting blossom end rot on the specific Oxheart tomatoes that I had grown. So I don't know if that was just a personal problem or the seeds that I had gotten before, but I'll be happy to try again with these. Aroma tomato, classic. Rainbow mix tomato. So this isn't just a specific tomato, this is a mix of tomato seeds. So And yellow pear tomato. I'm glad that these were in here because I had actually ran out last year, and these are one of my favorite smaller tomatoes. Okay, so that was that packet of tomatoes, and then here, these little white boxes, they're just like deli containers. I haven't jumped on the bandwagon where everyone's using the photo containers to store their seeds yet. Probably will soon though. Okay, Hungarian heart tomato. This is another good ox heart shaped tomato. Cherokee purple, probably my favorite tomato. Got a few of those left. I might have to get more of these. Oh, maybe not. Here's a second pack. Okay, and then in with my tomatoes, I have a couple of other nightshades. I've just got the Black Beauty eggplant and then Little Fingers eggplant, which I haven't gotten to try this one yet, so I'll be happy to see how it compares to just a normal eggplant. And then also a tomatillo. Now moving on to the empty packets of tomato seeds. So these are from the last few years that I've collected. I always keep all of my empty packets for all of the plants. So here we just have another yellow pear, which I already have extra seeds for, so I don't have to buy these again. But again, I love these. They have really good flavor. And they're usually like, I don't know, maybe like an inch max. They don't get huge, but they're good. They're like a good cherry-sized tomato if you're not familiar. Okay, and next we have the Dr. Witchy's tomato, however you're pronouncing it. Very similar to a yellow brandywine. However, in my case, I don't know if it's just the specific strain of seeds that I had gotten. My brandywine tomatoes were actually ended up being much larger and meatier versus the Dr. Witchy's tomato, which were, you know, they were running close to a pound, but they had more of the gel center rather than being a good slicer, which of course I'll try that again and see if that's the way that it'll pan out this next year. But again, these were good tomatoes too, but that was really the only difference that I found. Beefsteak tomato. Beefsteaks now, they're just really considered slicers. I don't know if this would be considered a true beefsteak. These are just seeds that I had randomly gotten off of Amazon one year. And from what I remember, right, these tomatoes didn't get super large either. I believe that these are just probably weak seeds. But again, it happens sometimes when you're just ordering random seeds. It's not the end of the world, but you'll still get a good fruit production usually, especially if you're good at growing tomatoes. So again, it was okay. It's just a regular red tomato for me. And then we have brandywine. I love brandywine tomatoes. This one's a pink one. They have a really good, rich flavor, usually on the sweeter side. Watermelon beefsteak. Another beefsteak tomato. These are just large slicers, commonly getting like pound or more. And as far as the watermelon one, it's pretty common. I didn't love or hate it. The Aunt Molly's ground cherry, I had this in with the tomatoes. So these were really good. They are extremely seedy. I didn't really know what to do with these, but I think I'm going to grow them again and try making jelly or something like that out of them. I think it'll be really good. But they do have a very sweet pineapple-y flavor. Big rainbow tomato. I actually did like this. This is another thing that has sort of a pineapple-y, fruity flavor. And they have really pretty striping on them too. So I'll probably grow this one again. I liked it. Amish paste tomato. Very productive. San Marzano. And again, the Amish paste and the San Marzano, I don't have to get more of because I already have backups. Spoon tomato. I don't really like these. I just think that when you're going to go pick the tomatoes versus what you're getting, if you're going for a harvest, it's not great. But if you have kids or someone that just likes to pick and eat as they're going through the garden, this is a great one. Rosella cherry tomato. This is probably one of my favorites. This has such a rich flavor, reminiscent of like a Cherokee purple tomato. So they have those, what do they call them? Anthocyanins that make the color purple. Next we have Berry's Crazy Cherry. These are very productive. I personally did not get a lot of good flavor out of them. It could have, again, been the way that I was growing them, but they tasted very watered down to me, and I didn't like the consistency of the skin versus the fruit. Yellow Brandywine, I'll have to get more of these. Small red cherry tomatoes. Now, I know a lot of people don't really like the larger cherry tomatoes, but I like those better than the small one. I feel like the skins are thicker on the small cherry tomatoes, and they are good for making like your sun-dried tomatoes, stuff like that, or just eating. But again, I prefer the larger ones, so I probably won't grow the small cherry again. I'll just stick with the large. And then here's another small cherry variety, Mexico Midget. I didn't really see a difference between the two. And a large cherry that I'm out of, and I'll have to get more because I love them, and they're super productive. I think that people also refer to these as Tommy Toes. Red zebra tomato. I had the green zebra in the other packet, so I probably won't buy more of the red, but I'll see. But again, a great tomato, especially if you're going to be canning them. Another empty packet of the Cherokee Purple. It is my favorite, if you didn't notice by now. Next up, I just got a Better Boy hybrid tomato. Not a big fan of these. It's just like a grocery store tomato, which isn't my goal in the garden. Paul Robeson, a lot like a Cherokee Purple tomato, but again, I prefer the Cherokee Purple. These seemed like they had more gel rather than being a good slicer, and my Cherokee Purple tomatoes got bigger. Grab another hybrid, Big Boy hybrid, again, kind of like a grocery store tomato, so it's not what I'm going for. And then same here, Early Girl hybrid. These are all great tomatoes. My in-laws love these. This is the types that they'll grow every year, so I usually have these on hand to grow for them. Sun Gold Select. These are a really good flavorful tomato. I didn't have any problems with these. I'll definitely have to get more of these and grow them again. They have a really, in case you're wondering, they have a really bright flavor. So if you like a mixed basket of your cherry tomatoes, what I like to do is my yellow pear, an orange tomato like the Sun Gold, and then the Rosella. Those are my absolute favorite for just snacking. And then the last one, German pink tomato. Absolutely love these for a slicer too, and they have a really just good classic like pink tomato flavor, and they always get ginormous for me. So now that we have the tomatoes done, I think that I'm going to just wrap this up and do these categories individually. So I'll have the tomato video out, and then I'll come back and do peppers, squash, herbs, and so on. So thank you so much for watching, and be on the lookout for the rest of these. Bye!